طيب. Inshallah. Everybody ready? You have anything? السلام عليكم always. كيف حالك؟ طيبين? Good,
Maybe
good.
we should have a marathon night one night.
Yeah, with the other brothers.
Yeah,
Inshallah.
lecture series, huh, Chef?
Mm-hmm.
And this is MF Staten Island, New York. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can one take a shower with soap before performing ghusl or vice versa?
طيب. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, the question comes from Staten Island. Can I use soap or shampoo before or after I make a ghusl? There's nothing wrong with using soap before or after a ghusl. In brief, we know that ghusl is of different types. You can make a ghusl that's based off of a specific reason, and that could be more than one type. Making a ghusl coming off of your menstruation, making a ghusl after being intimate with your wife, making a ghusl behind becoming a Muslim, versus making a ghusl on Friday, on Jumu'ah. So the different reasons. What's important is that if you plan on making a purely spiritual ghusl, then you should just use water. Your hair, your nose, all parts of your body, the two ways of making the ghusl, and that's it. The ghusl of Jumu'ah, or the ghusl of Janaba, or coming off of your menstruation, it should not involve soap or shampoo directly, because it's spiritual. The ghusl of cleanliness, to wash up, to smell good, exfoliate, so on and so forth, scrub your body, you can use whatever you wish to use after that, inshallah ta'ala. So let's say, for example, I want to make a ghusl for two reasons. I'm sweating, I'm hot, it's early in the daytime, and I was intimate with my wife. So the first ghusl I'm going to make is just going to be just with water. Just with water. And then afterwards, the shampoo, the conditioner, the soap, so on and so forth, you scrub. Everyone understand this? And obviously the concept of touching your private part, all of those fiqh details as well are going to be included in that. But the ghusl of janaba is not necessitate soap. But let's just say, for example, a person had a bucket they were washing up in, or a bin, or a basin, or whatever, and it has some soapy water in it, labas. As long as the water is still considered water, soapy water. Wallahu alam.
Initials AD, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Assalamualaikum, Sheikh. What to do when by the end of the salat and you're not sure whether or not you have one rakat or no rakat left?
At the end of the salah, question from Minneapolis, what to do when you're at the end of your salah and you're unsure if you have one or two rak'ahs left, correct? Or one or none, right?
Okay, one rakat.
But if you're still in the salah, that's one scenario. If you're outside of the salah, it's a different scenario. As far as after your prayer, don't turn towards any doubt or second guessing of yourself. As far as if you're in your prayer, try your best. As the hadith says, فَلْيَتَحَرَّ الصَّوَابِ. فَلْيَتَحَرَّ الصَّوَابِ. Look, try your best. And if you can't come to a conclusion, وَلْيَبْنِي عَلَى مَسْتَيْقًا. The hadith says, build upon that which you're certain. Is this my last rak'ah of dhuhr or not? I know for sure that I made 3 rak'ahs. This could be the 4th, but for sure this is the 3rd. So you make 3. And if you made 4, then the extra rak'ah that you will make, شَفَعْنَا لَهُ مَا قَدْ صَلَّى. The hadith says. It will even out the odd number that he made mistakenly. So what's important is build upon what you know for sure, and then perform the sujood as-sahu. Then make the prostrations for forgiveness. Wallahu alam.
Initials OS, Columbia, Missouri. Does a man and his illegitimate daughter have to keep ties? Once I found out about this issue, I decided to stop speaking to that side of the family. Is this correct? Before this, we weren't really in contact, but learning about this made it more purposeful, i.e. to continue to stop contact.
The question is from where?
Columbia, Missouri.
From Columbia, Missouri. A man finds out that he has an illegitimate daughter. Should he or can he keep relations with her? I would say if the daughter is interested in Islam, and she needs help and support and love, and she wants to be a Muslim and do the right thing, keep relations with her. Teach her about Islam, send her money, visit her. She is your daughter. Her being from an illegitimate relationship does not negate the fact that she is your daughter. Okay, she looks like you. She's your daughter. But there are certain ramifications there are certain Islamic rulings that pertain to it not being a child of the bed, and it being a walad of zina. But it doesn't mean that we just open up the door in the United States and we can just make zina and just do away with the responsibility of our child. Especially if the young girl is willing to live with you and follow Islam and follow your teachings. All right? It's better for you to stand in front of Allah if you did something wrong by raising this young girl to be a pious Muslimah, instead of you thinking that you're going to stand in front of Allah by not doing something wrong and her going to be an evangelist or a Baptist or a Presbyterian Christian. You pick which one you want. She loves you. She wants to be with you. She's willing to follow you. It's better, at worst case scenario, for her to be with you as a Muslim. Okay? Instead of her being a Christian and being wasted and turned into a statistic in 2019, what the average girl becomes and so on and so forth. So that's my advice. Wallahu alam.
Can you do a session on Ruqya?
Tayyib. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa salams, right? Can you do a session on Ruqya from Toronto, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala? Inshallah. We'll try our best to make some type of workshop or series on Ruqya. Very important topic. Bi'idhnillah.
IG, Augusta, Georgia. Where can I find books on the lives of the Sahaba? I see Abu Hurairah name everywhere, but I don't know who he is.
Question from Augusta, Georgia. Where do I find books on the Sahaba? Read the books of Sirah. Read the books of Sirah. And as we said before, for the layman 9 to 5 Muslim who isn't, that integrated in all of the sciences in this book and so on and so on and so forth, one of the best resources for books on the Sirah of the Prophet and Sirah of the Companions, the Dar es-Salam series, the Dar es-Salam library. Their catalog is very good for a 9 to 5 Muslim, for young people, very, very good, very beneficial, and generally sound, inshallah ta'ala, on the Sirah of the Sahaba and of the Companions. That would be my advice. And Allah knows best.
Initials DA, Capitol Heights, Maryland. Eid Mubarak, I have a gift to give you. Also, did the Prophet ﷺ say that we have to have our feet touching during Salah?
Question is from Maryland. With regards to the Prophet say that the feet have to touch in the prayer. And you have a gift to give you, Eid Mubarak. May Allah make your Eid always Mubarak. May Allah accept your good deeds. If you made Hajj or if you slaughtered or whatever you did, may Allah accept them from you. And thank you very much for the salutations. If you wish to give us a gift, you can come in person and give it to us, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Or you can send it to the masjid address, inshallah. Everything, the information should be on the website or Instagram, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And we appreciate the gift that you sent us. And may Allah make us grateful for that. As far as did the Prophet say that the foot has to touch the other foot, I've never read that in a hadith. I've never come across the Prophet saying that the foot has to touch. Okay, that's with regards to the technical answer. Just because the Prophet doesn't say something directly doesn't mean that the ruling doesn't exist. Okay? عدم الدليل المعين لا يستلزم منه عدم الدلالة المعينة أو عدم المدلول يعني. المهم is a specific proof doesn't mean that the ruling doesn't exist. أو عدم معرفة دليل معين لا يلزم منه عدم knowing about another dalil. So just because the Prophet didn't say that the foot has to touch the next foot doesn't mean that the ruling doesn't exist. And that's because the Prophet's sunnah is of different types. There's the sunnah of speech, there's the sunnah of action, and there's the sunnah of acknowledgement. He said something, or he did something, or he saw the companions do it, and then he allowed them to do it. Or, if we have a combination and a hybrid, in which the Prophet gives a general command, and the companions understood something, and they did it, and he did not criticize them for that. And that's what we have with regards to straightening the rows. The Prophet clearly in several authentic hadith commanded them to straighten the rows. Sawu sufufakum. Latu sawwudna sufufakum. Straighten the rows, fix the rows, tighten the rows, tarasu. And then what did the companions do afterwards? Did they yulsiq ka'bahu bi ka'bi sahibihi wa katifahu ila akhirih? What they did. And we know that one of the khasa'is, one of the specific qualities of the Prophet ﷺ, he would say, فَإِنِّي أَرَاكُم مِّن وَرَاءِ ظَهْرِي. He says, أَلَا لَا يَخْفَى عَلَيَّ خُشُوعُكُمْ وَلَا رُكُوعُكُمْ. He says, your bowing and your submission to Allah is not hidden from me because I see you from behind. The Prophet had the ability to see the companions as he was facing towards the Qibla. This is one of the khasa'is of the Prophet, the authentic sunnah. So therefore the Prophet saw what they did. He did not criticize them, rather he acknowledged them. So therefore one takes the command of the Prophet, and what the companions did is that is the sunnah if it's possible. If the feet can be connected and joined, that's what should be done. And the toes should be facing the qibla. The atraf, the asabi' should face the qibla. And the more that the heels are like this, the further they're what? From the Kaaba and from the qibla, if you think about it. The further you make your heels like that, the what? The far it is and the less direct it is to the what? Towards the Kaaba. So it's a fiqh. Let alone the row being tight, fitting more people on the front row, so on and so forth. There's so many different sunnahs that are included in having the feet physically touch. But if they can't touch, if it's a difficulty, people's heels, people's feet, and so on and so forth, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ.
It shows OS Columbia, Missouri. How does one deal with the common way of inclusion in the work and school place where people are expected to call others by their chosen pronouns, like calling a man she or they, or calling a woman he or they, or calling a man a woman name, or vice versa?
Repeat the question, please.
And it shows OS Columbia, Missouri. How does one deal with the common way of inclusion in the work and school place where people are expected to call others by their chosen pronouns, like calling a man she or they, or calling a woman he or they, or calling a man a woman's name, or vice versa?
Question from Columbia, Missouri. We have the concept of the different nouns and pronouns, titles, the wave of the different gender changing, and so on and so forth, right? If it was me, I'll call you whatever you want me to call you as long as you give me my paycheck. If it was I was in a position, if my boss unfortunately was they call it he, she, if my boss got a sex change, as long as you give me my paycheck on time, what? Peace. Have a good weekend. Thank you very much. It's just that simple. We spoke about professionalism. You don't have to believe in it. That's not your worship, but that's the title that they have at the workplace. That's what they want to. What are you going to do? If you refuse to call them that, what can happen to you? They may sue you. They may get you fired. They may accuse you of something. You got to be mindful. Being at a job is not home. A job is not the masjid. I go there as a professional employee. Good morning. How are you doing? That's it. We don't have to talk about religion or politics or terrorism or وَضْرِبُوهُنَّ, beat them, or فَقْتُلُوهُ حَيْثُ ثَقِفْتُمُوهُ. We don't have to discuss none of that. Right now we're in the office, we're in a cubicle, the printer is out of paper, this is your coffee, that's what? That's it. You have to be mindful of professionalism, working with non-Muslims. We do not have to discuss religion, period. Khalas, my way of life, your way of life, certain things that I don't do, you know I don't shake hands, so on and so forth, that's it. It's just that simple. Your sexual orientation has what? Now, if you can't have the ability, if you don't have the ability to deal with it like that, and you have that type of ghairah and so on, then remove yourself from the workplace and become an entrepreneur or work with Muslims or whatever the case may be. But if you're going to be in the belly of the beast, there has to be what? Some type of fiqh and how to deal with it. And perhaps that's one of the best ways of it is being professional. I'm not here to talk about religion. I'm here to talk about work. We're here to make money for the boss. I do my job. This is my contract. Give me my paycheck. Thank you very much. Simple. Wallahu alam.
Initials IA. Assalamu alaikum from the Bronx, New York. Is working in a clothing store like H&M or Starbucks halal?
Question is from the Bronx. Working in a clothing store or Starbucks is a halal? It's like many other jobs. They also is halal. It's originally permissible, but it's going to include things that are haram. Starbucks, they sell bacon, right? I think. Applewood. Smoked bacon, right? On some breakfast sandwiches. Starbucks don't have it? I think Starbucks sells pork too. Yeah, they have some items with yeah, they do. Last time I saw it, the Starbucks I went to, no doubt. You guys acting as a fake piety, man. Like y'all don't know. You go to the Starbucks, you see the stuff in the glass, the roasted tomato feta sandwich, the walnut loaf, and they have the what? The smoked applewood cheddar. Come on, man. Come on, man. You see the fake piety, right? And what are together? Nobody knows the Starbucks. You seen it right before, Hishan? Al-Muhim. At the end of the day, I mean, there's going to be things that's going to be haram there. You see what I'm saying to you? Let alone men and women mixing. You're bumping into someone, she's uncovered. And the same applies to H&M. Some people, they may come in here buying clothes to wear to a club or shoes to wear outside. She says, no, I want to wear them out the store, the 6-inch heels or the perfume. Or she says she walks up to the counter, you're a cashier with lingerie, some underwear, says, yeah, I got this for my man. I got this for Johnny or Rick or whoever. How do I look? What do you think? Do you think they look good on me? What are you going to do? So whatever job you do is going to be some type of involvement with what? Something on one scale or another. You work for the sanitation. You don't. The church not on your route. The club not on your route. What are you going to do? I'm not going to pick up the trash. And if they don't pick up the sanitation, that club and that church and that restaurant that sells pork can't what? Can't function. So this is a reality of jobs in 2019 in Western countries. It's going to be some type of something. Obviously, this bayna yani mustaqil wa mustakthir. You see what I'm saying to you? A little or a lot, give or more. But the point is that if we say it's absolutely haram to work there because it's 10% haram or 5% haram or this little product, that's going to be extremely difficult with everything else. So the average thing in Starbucks is what? Coffee, tea, a donut, some biscuits, some type of frap or latte or whatever. And then there's one thing on the menu that has what?
Bacon.
The bacon in it. Or some type of fermented drink or something. And what can you do? Yani, for Allah, the best way you know how. The better of an employee you are, the better akhlaq you have, the more pride you have in your Islam, the easier it is for the non-Muslims to help you out and you won't deal with certain things. But one way or another, you're going to get, there's no way you're going to leave unscathed 100 what? Percent. It's difficult. Allah Muslim, so you have to prioritize. And Allah knows best.
Initials RA, Richmond, California. Assalamu alaikum. What's the ruling on fasting the 3 white days while Eid is still in progress? Although we for the sake of Allah, may Allah bless you with another wife. Say amen.
The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, the questions about fasting the 3 white nights while the day of the Eid is going on. Tayyib. May Allah Azza wa Jal bless you and jazakallah khairan for the dua. Okay, the Prophet forbade people to fast on the days of the Eid. And he encouraged people to fast the 3 white nights, quote unquote, the 3 white days, obviously. So here, يُقَدَّمُ الْحَاذِرُ عَلَى الْمُبِيحِ. And Allah surely knows best. It should not be done. You should enjoy the Eid if it happens to coincide. Wallahu alam.
This was MB, Brooklyn, New York. Assalamu alaikum. My brother, may Allah bless you for your good work. Is it permissible to tie your beard in a ponytail with the intention of keeping it neat? Also, is it permissible to dye your beard blonde?
Question is from, he said, Brooklyn? Tying your beard in a ponytail and dyeing it blonde. The beard should not be tied up. The beard should not be tied up. It's mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that there will come a people and they will what? And tatula bika al-hayat. He said, your beard will be twisted up. It shouldn't be done. Because that was from the ways of the polytheists and the mushrikun. Is that haram or is it just makruh? Is it specific to the mushriks? If a person has a wisdom in doing it, mumkin. But you should avoid it if you don't have to do it. If there's no need to do it, it should not be done. And the beard should it should grow naturally. And not even discussing the prohibition of that hadith in the Muslim Imam Ahmad, but the concept of many brothers, they have an issue with the beard. And they do all types of things to make their beards grow longer and faster, or to make their beard silkier, or what. Just let the beard grow naturally. If you have a strand, you have a strand. If you have some peach fuzz, that's what Allah gave you. If you have a couple of scruffy scrubbles, alhamdulillah. If you have a big mane, lion's mane, be grateful to Allah for that. If you want to use some natural products, comb it out, take care of the hair, labas, as the narration says. Man kana lahu sha'run falyukrimhu. The narration says whoever has hair, he should honor it. There's nothing wrong with that. We're not saying that you can't take care of the beard. But don't go to the extreme and forcing something that's not meant to be. No matter what you eat, no matter what you do, no matter what type of beard, butter, or oil you use, the beard is genetic. It's going to grow based off of your genes, according to my limited knowledge. You can scrape it and do whatever you want. It's only going to grow based off of your what?
Genes.
Off your genes. And the same applies to losing weight and gaining weight. You can lose weight, you can gain weight, so on and so forth, but your body frame is going to be what? You can enhance it a little bit, sculpt it, take it down, but in generally, you're a skinny person. In general, you're a big person. You're a short person. It's not but so much you can do. So you have to be pleased with what Allah Azza wa Jal has given you. All right? As far as dyeing your beard blonde, then there's no prohibition of dyeing your hair blonde as long as it's not harmful to the body and harmful to the hair. And Allah surely knows best.
This shows MR Lodi, California. Mufti, can you please do dua for my friend's dad who's sick? He is old, weak, and sick beyond hope for complete health to return to. So the hope is for Allah's forgiveness and mercy. And is it proper for me to ask you to make dua for him or anyone else in that case?
Question is from Lodi, California. Can you please make dua for a friend's father who's very sick and ill? And it seems as if that person is on the verge of returning to Allah. And is it proper for me to ask you this question? May Allah cure him. May Allah heal him. May Allah give him shifa. And if Allah does not will to give him shifa, may Allah forgive him of his sins and allow him into Jannah. And make his grave expansive and spacious. And may Allah make his relatives and family members and heirs patient. Allahumma ameen. It's nothing wrong with asking a Muslim to pray for you, as long as it's done properly, not excessively. And Allah knows best.
Next was AB, Toronto, Ontario. Which books, articles, journals, etc. do you read and recommend, which are not necessarily Islamic, but good for general knowledge in various subjects?
Type question from Toronto with regards to what books or articles do you advise people to read that are not necessarily Islamic, that are beneficial, that are wholesome, etc. Encyclopedia Britannica. Can't go wrong with that. Webster's Merriam Dictionary. Can't go wrong with that, huh? Read books like that, inshallah. And there are many what? Other books. That's definitely a good starting place. The encyclopedia, the World Book. The dictionary, for sure. Wallahu alam.
This shows AB, Toronto, Ontario. Assalamu alaikum. What are the conditions for hijab in the salah, jewelry, etc.?
Questions from where?
Toronto, Ontario.
Questions from Toronto. What are the hijab conditions or the conditions for hijab in the salah with regards to jewelry? It depends if you're praying in front of sisters versus if you're praying in front of brothers. So if you're praying in front of sisters and you have on a ring or henna or whatever the case may be on your hands, la bas. There's nothing wrong with that, inshallah. If you're praying in a public place, then the prayer is going to be an extension of the hijab that you're wearing, should you even wear jewelry outside. Obviously, there are certain narrations, certain tafsirat, al-khatam, from the Sahaba. But what's meant by a ring? A fat diamond ring, jewelry, a blinging, iced out watch, a gold watch, something that's shiny and bright, attention attracting, etc., versus something that comes out. Okay? So at the end of the day, if you're praying in front of sisters, then that's one thing. Praying in front of a janib, that's a different story. Praying in front of mahrams, that's what? A different story. What's important is that the woman's body should be covered in a prayer from top to toe. Many ulama say that in the prayer, her face and her hands do not have to be covered and should not be covered. That's a long discussion in itself. Oh yeah, dalil ala hada, this cave. Al-muhim is that the body should be covered and the top of the feet should be covered. Bi-idhnillah. And if there's anything that was going to be exposed in the prayer, face, hands, and perhaps the soles of the feet when a person makes sujood. Wallahu alam.
This was MD, Toronto, Ontario. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. In the past 2 months, I've had 2 dreams in which my left incisors, top and bottom teeth were falling out. What can this mean?
Question is from Toronto. We mentioned this before with regards to the meaning of losing teeth in a dream. I think it was last week or the week before. And what the ulama of Islam say about losing teeth. Losing someone close to you, losing a loved one, or a person living to a very old age, not living other people. General tafsirs of that dream. Those two, and there's others. Those two of the general ones that the ulama mentioned. Al-muhim, as we've explained before, there are 2 styles or methods of dream interpretation. The first is a ta'bir al-am. The general interpretation, you see a bird, it means this. Flying means that. Drowning means that. You see an animal, it means kada. And then there is the ta'bir, which is pertaining to a specific person and a specific lifestyle. So to this person, I would say, this is what it means. You told me some general facts about your life. And to another person, I say it means something else. Like medicine, 2 people come into my office, they both have extreme fevers. I take a test, I look at the person, I says, I think it's this. And this person says, it's probably just a common cold or flu. It depends. Wallahu alam.
This was AB, Toronto, Ontario. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. When you miss a few fard prayers, do you make them all up or do you just pray the current prayer and make tawbah for the one before?
Question from Toronto, he said. When you missed a few fard prayers, do you make them all up? Or do you just make the current fard prayers? You do both, inshallah. Dain Allahi ahaqu an yuqda. You do both. Okay? Make the current prayer if it's about to go out. There's only 20 minutes, 15 minutes left. But if you have time, an hour, then make up the missed ones, then make the dhuhr or the asr or whatever the prayer is. Inshallah. But you have to pay off that debt. Bismillah.
Initials AK Toronto, Ontario. Can you make mess over 2 pairs of socks? I wear 2 pairs in the winter. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you very much.
Question from Toronto, Ontario. Can you make mess over 2 pairs of socks? I wear 2 pairs of socks in the winter because it's cold. There's nothing wrong with that. La bas. The fuqaha have spoken on this. Al-khuf, or al-jawrab, al-shirab, al-fawqani, wa-tahtani, la bas. As long as you fulfill the conditions of the wudu and the mess of the feet and of the first sock. So I made ghusl for fajr. I washed my feet, dried my feet, put on lotion or whatever the case may be. I put on 1 pair of socks and then I put on what? Second pair of socks. And then I put on boots. For the rest of the day, I'm wiping over the boots. La bas. Or in the match, I take off my boots and wiping over the second pair of socks. La bas. As long as the conditions were fulfilled with regards to the mess. Wallahu alam.
AY Singapore, what are some guidelines for adoption other than not changing the name?
Question is, what are some guidelines for adoption other than changing the name? Other than not changing the name. Yani, the concept of the need for adoption. Is there a need? Do you have the sabr to do it? Regardless of the actual ruling of a tabanni, adopting a child. The concept of these children are going to be lost and wasted and squandered. Or like out of a storybook or a movie, late at night, it's storming and raining and someone what? Knocks on your door and it's a baby in a what? A basket. Huh? Oh, you guys don't know about that either. Right? The concept of the baby's being wasted, the baby was going to be abandoned, or may Allah prevent a brother or sister, they can't have children. They've been trying to have children for a very long time. So be mindful of the need and be mindful of you having the ability to do it. The sabr upon it, the finances to do it, etc. And to know what you're getting into. You're taking in a child to your family, to your lineage, quote unquote, to your women folk, your maharim, so on and so forth, the rulings on that. If it's a breastfed child, you don't know where the child comes from. You know what, you be mindful of that. It's a responsibility. So that's a very important guideline. And just making sure that you give the best thing that the child can be possibly given, and that's Islam. That's Islam, and the tarbiyah of Islam. Okay, and the akhlaq of Islam. Wallahu alam.
Initials AY Singapore. Assalamu alaikum. Is it possible for HD to continue uploading podcasts? It is very beneficial to download, listen to on car journey. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you.
So a question from Malaysia as well. With regards to continuing the podcast, inshallah, we'll just ask that question tonight. My guy, right? Jazakallah khairan. I'll speak to some of the volunteers, inshallah. And if this specific disciple or disciple from Malaysia would wish to contribute, then they can contact us with regards to making the podcast episodes, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakallah khairan.
Initials AB Toronto, Ontario. Is it permissible to sacrifice udhiyah in the name of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course?
From Toronto. Is it permissible to sacrifice udhiyah and give it to the Prophet ﷺ? There's no need to. The Prophet ﷺ, he sacrificed one for himself and his family and one for his ummah. Khalas. He's the one who taught you about udhiyah. There's no need for you to sacrifice for him. Sacrifice it for yourself and for your family, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And you want to give the Prophet ﷺ rewards, you say sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Following the sunnah is giving him his rewards. Right? That's what you do. That's how you respect the Prophet and give him his haqq. Wallahu alam.
Initial CB, Ontario, Canada. How to convince parents to allow me to be a stay-at-home daughter?
Questions from Toronto?
Yeah.
How to convince my parents for them to allow me to be a stay-at-home daughter. That could be difficult. And I think it's all going to depend on what type of parents you have. And what is their view on life and career and success and modernity and so on and so forth. Al-Muhim, if they're open-minded parents, then you just explain to them, everyone doesn't have to go outside the house. Everyone is not made to be a white-collar professional. Everyone is not made to be a blue-collar professional or worker. Everyone is not a musician or a painter or a cook. It's life. And if they're open-minded, then it's not going to need but so much discussion with them for them to get your point. But if they need you to work, that's a different story. They need you to help out, that's a what? different story. But we're talking about in most cases in which the parents don't need the daughter to work, but they force their lifestyle upon the children. Okay, let's just ask ourselves a question. For the modern world to exist and for the city to buzz or to hum, what is needed? How would New York City be, or Toronto, huge city like Toronto, how would it be if everyone was an engineer and a lawyer? Could you ride on the train in the morning? Could you eat breakfast in the morning? Could you read the newspaper, the sports feed, stand-up comedy? What would you do when it's lunchtime? Who cleans the office? Who provides the... It's so many things that are needed for you to be an engineer. Where are those professions coming from? And the people that are engineers, they need to be fed. They need to be entertained. They need to be looked after when they get sick. They need to be this. They need to be that. All of those things are needed. And the point I'm trying to make is many Muslim parents, unfortunately, they're one-trick ponies. That's it. That's the only thing to be in life is this. And that, not even from a religious aspect, that doesn't even make sense in the dunya. That doesn't make any sense. Who is the person that's protecting the lawyer and the judge, except for what? The police officer, security guard. You see what I'm saying to you? Who is the person that wears the clothes for the lawyer to stand in front of the judge? Who's the person that designs the necklace and the jewelry of the lawyer and this person and that? Every aspect is what? Is needed. And there can't be no modern city, a thriving city, except that it has an art gallery, except that it has a list of restaurants, except that it has stadiums, except that it has aquariums, except. So if everyone was single-minded or single-track-minded, where would the modern city of Toronto be right now, Sam? Where would it be? Billah alayk, yani. Where would the lawyers and doctors do? Where would they go when they're hungry and tired and bored? What would they do? Abu Amin? So, yani, many Muslims, they're mentally stuck, frozen in one thing, and that's unfortunate. So I think one of the most important skills of being a successful parent, and Allah knows best, is knowing that children are different. And your children do not have to do the same thing. They don't have to be the same thing. They have different desires, different abilities. If my son wants to be a sheikh, let him go be a sheikh. And this one is the money man. And he's the athlete. Alhamdulillah. All my sons don't have to do the same thing. All my daughters don't have to do the same thing. As long as it's permissible and pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I think you should try to convey this message to them. And I think if they need to get the point, then go out with them early in the morning and come home late at night and write down a list of all of the professions and careers that they benefited from morning until night. And say, look, Umi, do you think all of these people were made by their parents to do one thing? The one who made your omelet in a hotel, what do you think his parents made him do? If he was an engineer, who's going to cook for you? Who's going to do this for you? So people are different. There's nothing wrong with that. And as long as it's not a need or a necessity, and you want to stay home and be in the house and you be productive and constructive, alhamdulillah. And Allah surely knows best. That's in general, huh? Perhaps this will be our last question tonight. Inshallah. Let's see what the question is.
What must should a layman Muslim know and study, i.e., to what extent must their certainty of Islam be when doubts are so widespread?
Question is from Toronto. MashaAllah, Toronto's in the building tonight. Strong. Show code, huh? MashaAllah, Allah Mubarak. It's like 60% of the questions tonight. Huh? Tayyib. Al-Muhim. To what extent does a layman Muslim have to know about Islam to have certainty against the widespread doubts, so on and so forth? The basics of Islam. However, there are times in which there are special needs and things that come up and pop up. So if the Muslims were living in a Muslim or in a land dominated and populated by Muslims, and the Sunnah was widespread, that's one thing. Versus living with non-Muslims, or Muslims that have deviated from the correct path, and Muslims that have a great deal of ignorance and khurafa, folklore and superstition with them. Atheists, people that are attacking Islam, that's a different story. Just like one's health. The concept of health is not rocket science. It's not rocket science. It has never been rocket science. Eat balanced diet, fruits and vegetables, leafy green vegetables, fresh fruit. Don't eat too much of this, don't eat too much of that. Work, walk, climb a mountain, row a boat, so on and so forth. Have a balanced life. It's not rocket science. But you have this poison, this preservative, this thing, that thing. That's a bit different now. You can't eat that. That's too much mercury in it. This thing is too much sodium in it. This is artificial. This is this. Too much of that. The human body isn't like how it was. at a point in time. It's a hereditary trait now to get colon cancer. It's a hereditary trait to get prostate cancer. It's a hereditary trait to get breast cancer, so on and so forth. So that's what you do. If you're living in a place in which there's a great deal of doubts about atheism, more knowledge needs to be spread. More awareness needs to be what? Spread. And it also depends on the person. Because some people, they don't care about that stuff. And we have to speak the truth. Inshallah, there are many Muslims, walillah alhamd, they have yaqeen. They don't care about this scientific discovery and this ancient manuscript of the Quran that was found in this country. They don't care about that stuff. I'm a Muslim. I was born Muslim. I was raised Muslim. I love Islam. Amantu billah. That's it. And then there are others who listen to that stuff or come across it, who go to college and who have this. They work with non-Muslims who spread doubts. So it depends on what? On the person. There are many Muslims, I'm sure you know, in which they don't even what? I don't care about that stuff. Oh, you got to see this YouTube video, the Quran exposed, the scientific mistakes. And like, yeah, all right, whatever. I have no time for that. I believe in it. It's from Allah. That's it. So it depends on the person and depends on the scenario. Wallahu alam. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam wa barak ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabiyina